Well, hello out there. Kick off your shoes and join us in the cabin.
Me is Lee.
And I is Irene.
And together we be Wellness Unfiltered.
Yay! Lee, the cabin is a buzzing with energy, and it's emanating from the beautiful ray of light sitting across from me. Does this being have a name, or is she just beyond words?
She does have a name. Her name is Amelia Phillips, and she's both a nutritionist and an exercise scientist. And we're going to probe her brain on energy production and weight reduction today. And after we meet her, we have some womansplaining to do for Justin, because he is a man that just needs some splaining sometimes. And stay around for this week's rant or rave. I have one of those to share.
Wow, that is so much. And we are going to need all the energy and advice Amelia over there can provide us. And, you know, we've also got an update from Marianne. Do you remember Marianne from episode 3?
Mm-hmm.
Her uni-going daughter was having all of those sleep issues, and it's going much better.
Is it?
She said that definitely putting that phone off
Yep.
away has really helped, and also keeping the room cooler as well. So she's doing really well.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. That is great news. Anyway, let's not sleep on our latest guest. Allow me to introduce you to the beautiful Amelia. Yay!
Hi guys, thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited, and for those that are listening and can't see, we are sitting in this most beautiful studio looking over the glorious Pittwater, and it's such a beautiful space.
And it's so good to have you here. All right, Irene and listeners, meet Amelia. I've known Amelia for a few years now, and we met through a mutual friend of ours called Lizzie, who emceed my last book launch. And Amelia is such a wonderfully inspirational person, especially in the field of nutritional science and exercise. Welcome to the cabin, Amelia.
Hi, Amelia. Welcome to the cabin. You're a nutritionist and a fitness scientist, is that right?
Yes, an exercise scientist.
Wow. And so how do both of those things work together? It's really interesting because for me, I really understand nutrition, and I understand if I eat really great things, then, you know, I'll feel better. And I do understand, like, people love exercise, and then that also makes you feel better. But I don't really, for someone that doesn't do much exercise, I just don't quite understand how they both work together.
Yeah. Oh, look, they go together like strawberries and cream, my friend. And especially because I know today's episode, we're really drilling down on weight management and boosting our energy. So I'm going to kind of shape today's conversation with those two things in mind, assuming that that's what your listeners are wanting to achieve. And I guess when I first started out in the industry, when I was 17, it was 29 years ago, I started out in the exercise science space. I fell in love with exercise. I saw what it did for my health and for my mental health as well, and for others. But what very quickly became apparent to me was how important nutrition was. And what I found was once people got into the habit of regular exercise, it's actually not that hard. It's not rocket science at all. Move your body, find something you enjoy, and do it consistently. Where I found the real challenge, particularly around weight management, was nutrition. And so that was why I shifted my studies and did a Master of Human Nutrition to really understand nutrition a lot more deeply, so that then I could, you know, help my clients. And then, you know, my career kind of took off in many different directions after that, but always with this combination of the strawberries and cream of diet, exercise together, because that is the magic.
Yeah, I've got a question then about nutrition. When we're talking about nutrition in relation to your expertise, are we talking about food nutrition, like the sort of nutrition that Lee talks about, which I understand, or are you talking about, like, when I see ads for sports nutrition, which for me doesn't even seem that healthy, but there's like all these stores, and they sell all these sports nutrition. Which nutrition are we talking about?
I know, that's such a great question, because it is so broad when we talk about nutrition. I am very much of the lifestyle nutrition. So what Lee's area of expertise is as well, and less about elite and performance-based nutrition, say for athletes. Because if you are an athlete listening to this and you know you're really trying to shave down that 1 to 2% of your sprinting time or whatever that might be, you need to go and work with a sports dietitian, and that's where you will see a lot of ultra processed foods, and you'll see a very different approach. And it's not to say that one's better or worse.
Lee really does not like protein bars. She doesn't she's not a fan of a protein bar. But does that have a place then for an athlete?
It absolutely does.
Right.
And there is a huge plethora of what makes up a healthy eating pattern out there. So instead of focusing on a particular food or a particular type of food like a protein bar, we more look at an eating pattern. So you think of, say, an athlete, and they might need to have these really quick energy, easy to consume packet foods, because you know they're having to consume upwards of 3,000 to 5,000 calories a day. They just physically cannot get that food in unless they're incorporating some of these more ultra processed foods. But what you'll find is their overall pattern is still very healthy. But let's not worry about them, because that's a very small percentage of people. If we think of, you know, most of the people I think that we all work with are your everyday people who are wanting to be healthier but are living in a world where we are just surrounded by ultra processed foods, and unfortunately now being more and more marketed as healthy foods. Like, I get the Fruit Loops. I think we all get that Fruit Loops are unhealthy.
Yeah.
But to your point, Irene, when you're walking down, we've got whole aisles in the supermarket now that are sports nutrition foods, and really the majority of those are ultra processed foods.
Yeah, that's the really confusing thing.
And the issue I have with those, and particularly the sports and nutrition ones, they're marketed as healthy, but the emulsifiers and stabilizers and ultra processed ingredients within them are really bad for the gut. And as we know, gut health is priority and number one. So yeah, that's the kind of issue that I have with them. But I wanted to ask you, Amelia, you've been a fitness nut your entire life, and after you mentioned 29 years in the industry, I'd love to know what's the one thing that you believed early on in your career about weight loss that you've completely changed your mind on now?
I was the low-fat cardio queen girl.
Were you?
I'm ashamed to say, I feel like I'm in a confessional. But when I started in the 90s, like 97, it was all about stripping the fat out. So the diets that I followed and that I put a lot of my clients on was just protein down, pretty much all nutrients down.
Was it the cosmopolitan white wine diet? Was that the 90s or was that the 80s? I remember seeing that one.
Oh gosh, I hope I didn't put anyone on a wine diet, but it was very much about, we're just going to bring the calories right down and we're going to pull all the fat out. And so as a result, for flavor, you drive the sugar up. So I had a really nutrient poor, high glycemic approach. And then it was all about burning calories. So it was just about do whatever you can to just burn those 500. My protocol was pretty much 500 calories per workout and then 1,000 on a Saturday. And that was my blueprint. And don't get me wrong, it worked in the short term. Like, the weight just fell off my members and clients, but it doesn't look after your overall health. And once you reach that peri and menopausal transition, it is not a good approach. So I've definitely completely switched that around. So now, although energy balance is really important and calories, understanding, and remember, this is through the lens of weight management. So if you're listening to this and you don't need to lose weight, then don't worry about this. But if you're listening to this and you got 5 or more kilos to lose, energy balance is really important. So understanding the calories that you consume, the calories that you expend, making sure if you're wanting to lose weight, there is no way you will lose weight unless you're in an energy deficit. So unless you are consuming less calories than you are burning, you will not lose weight. End of story.
I agree with that. That is standard, isn't it? I mean, people try and tell you otherwise, but
every
the
single
math is not
diet,
mathing.
every single approach you take to manage your weight, if it is successful, It is not because you found some magic formula. It's because you are in an energy or a caloric deficit.
Agreed.
And it needs to be significant. So 7,700 calories in deficit is the equivalent of 1 kilo lost. So that if you look at that, if you're trying to lose half a kilo a week, which is modest, then you need to be in a deficit of 500 calories a day. Now, I think a lot of your listeners might want to switch off now. So
that's exactly exactly what I did. I don't even know what a calorie is.
Don't shoot the messenger either, because as soon as you start using the C word, you will get a visceral reaction from people. You do not need to count calories.
Because I've seen things on TikTok where people have put something healthy and then they put something not healthy, and the healthy thing has more calories than the unhealthy thing, and that can't possibly be healthy for you.
So what I will say is, again, if you are sitting here and you're like, that's my goal, weight management, you need to be in that energy deficit if you want to lose weight. There's 1,000 different ways to be able to do that. But today I think we need to focus on the healthy way to do that. And the way that is sustainable and doesn't feel like you're depriving yourself. Like if I could say to you, would you like to be in an energy deficit, so you're losing a moderate amount of weight, but you feel satiated, you're getting lots of beautiful nutritious foods that are supporting your gut, your hormones, etc. Would you want to do it?
Yes. That's exactly what I want.
So let's start with nutrition. So first of all, understanding that, having a general understanding of your own unique daily caloric limit, and there's calculators out there. You can jump online. You just Google daily and TDEE calculator. Okay, total daily energy expenditure calculator, TDEE, and there's a bunch of them up there. You put your gender, your age, your height, your weight, your activity levels, and it will say, but for most people, it's somewhere between that 1,500 to 2,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
Is what you require just to stabilize and maintain your weight. And then depending on the individual, how tall you are, how much weight you want to lose, you'll be consuming somewhere from 300 to 500 calories less per day. So that's the formula that you then kind of build your eating plan around.
Does your metabolic rate have anything to do with that?
Much less than is publicized.
Yeah,
people think that
you think that it would, right?
Yeah, and if you got 100 people to pop in those stats I just spoke about, the variations are not that huge. You're not going to get someone that's on 3,000 calories a day and someone that's on 1,000 calories a day, unless you're moving into that, sports and elite category or sports specific. But look, park all that, because I feel like that's overcomplicating things, but it is just to have a general understanding. Look, I need to be sitting at around 1,500 calories a day to lose weight.
Yeah, but what does that look like?
Okay, so what I would say to someone who's sitting here going, all of this sounds too boring and I don't know where to start, a really great hack, especially if you're really busy, is to engage in a meal delivery service for 1 month. Now, I feel like Lee's going to roll her eyes when I say this.
No, I'm this is, you're talking my language. I can do this.
Oh my gosh.
This is good.
I did this to myself last year and I dropped 3% body fat in 4 weeks. I was like, thank God. And I was so busy. I've got 4 kids. I don't have time to soak my own, almonds and all of that. So I'm always looking for hacks. So you go on a meal delivery service that is calorie controlled, because that way you don't have to think about it. You decide, am I going to do the 1,200 calories, the 1,500? I like the 1,200 because then you can add, your daily coffee, you can add your fruit, your crudités on top of that. So you've got a bit of wiggle room. So say you go on a 1,200 calorie meal delivery service for 1 month, you will then be able to see, this is what a 300 or 500 calorie meal looks like. But the service that I recommend is one that's very high in protein and lower in carbohydrates. Okay, so this particular one, every meal has 20 to 30 grams of protein in it. It's got 5 serves of veggies in it. It's lower in sodium, which is good because a lot of those packaged meal delivery can be high in sodium. And it's lower in carbohydrates. You're getting some carbs. It's not keto. It's not complete carb free, but it is definitely lower than what the average eating pattern would be.
And what about fats?
Yes, it's got just a moderate amount of fat. So it's got enough fats. Like there's lots of cheese in the dishes. Off the top of my head, I don't know what the percentage fats is, but it's definitely fats are there.
Yeah. Is it My Muscle Chef?
No, it's not. So this is one, I wasn't sure if I was allowed to use brands, but I love this one. It's called Be Fit Food.
No, say it because I need to know.
Lady that
yes.
I love her.
Gorgeous, divine.
Yeah, I've been on her show.
Yeah, have you?
Yeah.
Yes, she's invited me on her show. I had to unfortunately cancel.
She's amazing.
Kate Save.
Kate Save.
Hello,
yeah,
Kate.
Fantastic.
Oh, we should get her. We should get her on to
her.
talk about my favourite topic, which is how to get food delivered so you don't have to cook it.
Yes. So I really recommend if you are sitting here and you have been white knuckling your weight management and you just the thought of counting calories or doing lots of cook ups, go on Be Fit Food for 4 to 8 weeks. They've got a gluten-free metabolic plan, 1,200 calories. So then you've got a few extra calories in the day for your coffees and all of that. You will learn about portion size. The weight will come off you in a moderate way. Mm-hmm. Now, meal delivery services are not forever. They are a stepping stone. So you need to think of it like a little self-experiment and like education in portion sizes. And then you need to work out, how am I going to wean once I come off this? What changes am I going to make? Like for me, for example, I realized how much carbohydrate I was having that was crowding out all my other nutrients, particularly protein. We want to be having for a woman around 100 grams of protein per day. So you think that that's around 30 grams at each meal. That's a lot of protein. It doesn't just happen naturally. You actually have to really put some effort in.
Yeah.
So it's a hack way of doing it. I highly recommend it.
I've got a little hack that I do.
Yes.
It's called the 4-3-2-1 approach. 40% protein, 30% veggies, 20% good carbohydrates, like, sweet potatoes and things like that, and 10% fats. 4-3-2-1.
I love that. So are you imagining this like I'm imagining a plate,
yeah.
and I'm imagining
4, 3, 2,
a pie
1.
chart. Yeah, I love that.
I find that an easy way personally to do it. I wanted to actually chat about energy as well, because so many women come to me in my clinic and they're completely exhausted. They're not lazy, they're not unmotivated. They're genuinely bone deep tired and fatigued, especially around 40s and into midlife. What's actually going on physiologically and biologically for them, and where would they start?
Such a great question. I want you to imagine 3 circles, a Venn diagram. You've got the 3 circles that then all merge together, and there's the sweet spot in the middle of this Venn diagram, which is optimal energy. Okay, in each of these circles is your biology, your physiology, and the third circle, your psychology. Yeah. So I'm going to drill down into each of these circles, what the most important areas are to boost your energy. So if we start with the biology, okay, the biology is we're talking about what is going on inside your body. There's 4 key pillars of health in that biology category. That is your metabolic health, your hormone health, your gut health, and then your inflammatory response. So within each of those, you can test and track how optimal that pillar of health is. So metabolic health refers to not just your metabolism, but fundamentally your ability to use fat and glucose for energy. If you are metabolically really healthy, you are able throughout the day, you seamlessly switch between glucose from the food you eat and fat from your fat stores. Most of us have lovely little fat stores, which are just beautiful little bundles of energy. And so think of it like a hybrid car. If you are, and metabolic health is so important for energy levels and for preventing crashes like the afternoon slump or crashing out at night or not being able to wake up. So if you are like a hybrid car and you drive a hybrid car, you can't tell when it switches from electricity to petrol. That is the same metabolically when you're healthy. You can't tell when you switch between glucose to fat. But as we hit perimenopause, it's a bit like the gears become rusted. And what happens is we get low on glucose because we haven't eaten for a while or it's early in the morning or whatever. Instead of our body just seamlessly dipping into those golden fat stores of energy our body, it's rusted and we become resistant. And then what happens is we actually have a glucose crash, and then we feel tired or we feel jittery, and then our body turns on all our hunger hormones, and so we crave carbs, and we crave sugar, and we crave fat, and we crave all the foods that our body feels like it needs, that nutrients. It doesn't realize it's got all that energy in abundance.
And that's what we refer to as insulin sensitivity or insulin resistance.
Yes, so that's the beginning of insulin resistance.
Very common.
So for my ladies in our membership programs, we test those four drivers, and remember we're still in the first Venn circle here. The 4 biological drivers. There's a test once a year. Just get your metabolic health tested, get your inflammation levels. It's all in the same blood test. Gut health's a little bit different, and your hormone health. And so I can drill down. I feel like we don't have enough time to drill down into all 4 of those buckets today. But if you are optimal in metabolic health, if your hormone health is well stabilized, it's not just sex hormones like perimenopause, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, but it's also other hormones like your thyroid. So you want to have that tested once a year, make sure that's operating well, your inflammatory markers measured as well, and making sure your gut health. You don't have to do a test for gut health. There's lots of amazing ones out there, but you kind of know if your digestive system is operating well. You're doing, 1 to 2 bowel movements a day, or and you feel like your gut health, you're not, having more sensitivities to foods and things like that coming along. So that's the first bucket. If they're all working optimally, energy is going to be good. But then we look at the second bucket, which is your physiology. Okay. And this is the flesh and bone. So when we're looking at your physiology, we're looking at your body composition, bone, muscle, fat. Now we are going to be here for a very long time. We're living longer than ever. So if you're approaching 50, you're only at the halfway mark. This physical earth suit that we have needs to hold up for a whole other 50 years. So we want to make sure that our bone density is healthy. We want to make sure that our body fat levels are at a healthy range, between 18 to 33% if you have a DEXA scan. We want to make sure we're well muscled so that we don't become frail as we get older. And if you have those, if that body composition is just in a nice balanced state, you're going to have energy. If you're under muscled and maybe carrying extra body fat, that's going to be zapping your energy. So that's Venn diagram bubble number 2. And then, of course, the all-important bubble number 3 is our psychology. And this is not just about our emotional health, although that's so important, but it's about behavior change as well. Because I think we all kind of know what we should be doing, but changing our behaviors and bringing in these healthy habits involves behavior change. And if you don't have a good technique for changing some of these stubborn behaviors, then that's going to zap your energy.
Yeah.
So that's my little Venn diagram.
That makes absolute sense to me, Amelia.
Interesting, isn't it?
It's so interesting.
Is that overwhelming you, Irene?
No.
Because I know that you're not, like Lee and I are singing from the same book. You represent the people that are just like, I'm not that interested.
No,
How does that sit with you?
It's really interesting for me because I have been very vocal about this chronic fatigue that I have been feeling, which is why I started my business 15 years ago, because I thought I was overwhelmed with so many toxins and that wasn't helping, and that was contributing to this fatigue that I was feeling. But over the last, 5 or 6 years, I really have seen a lot of specialists trying to understand why I am so tired, and I get all the blood results back, and I don't have a thyroid problem. I've gone to a hormone specialist. I don't have any major, apart from perimenopause, any major whatever. But it's really interesting. No one has ever said any of those things to me. And I have seen so many specialists trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with me. Why do I feel so tired? I've gone gluten-free. I've gone vegan. I've gone back to eating meat again. And I'm starting to feel a tiny little bit better since I've started this podcast with Lee, because Lee, she feeds me and she tells me, what to eat.
She feeds me. I love that that's the first thing that's said.
And the reason I don't do exercise, and that really comes down to, for me, for my exercise issues, as I was saying before, is I just don't love exercise, and it's because actually I hate exercise because I'm so tired all the time. I don't have enough energy to go out, get up and do exercise. And I had one goal last year, like, how you have like goals, I only had one goal. All I wanted was enough energy to be able to walk my dog every day and be able to run around my warehouse and start a new business, all of those things. And I never knew how to get it. And so what you were saying to me just then is thinking, oh my God, if I do these things, can I get it?
Yes, 100%. And I'm sitting here listening to you, and I want to reach over and give you a big hug and a big burst of hope and optimism that there is so much that we can do to boost your energy. And so if you were a member on one of my programs, the first thing I would do is screen out for all the really obvious ones. So particularly with you, I'd be looking at some nutrient insufficiencies. Like, for example, do you know what your iron levels, your ferritin levels are like?
They were a bit low.
What's your vitamin D?
Vitamin D was a bit low too.
Okay, so straight away, I can tell you right now, if we get those levels not just sufficient but optimal, that makes a massive difference.
I know what you're saying, but I've done that. I've done the B, like the Bs, the irons. I'm on all of those things from like the doctors and whatever and the naturopaths through those blood tests, and they haven't made a difference.
In other words, those serum tests came back in a optimal or normal state.
Yeah, so I was low, took them.
And you didn't notice a difference
Got
even
a
when
new
they
blood
were...
test. They were fine. No difference. The only thing that gives me a difference is having a V. You know those Vs, the green V, the energy drinks?
Oh, my God.
Oh, your eyes, you almost fell off your chair saying that. That does help.
I love you.
Must be the guarana.
So, okay. So if you were my client, and I'm fine if you need to have a V every now and again, but I don't want you having one every single day.
No, I don't. I limit it to 4 a month.
Okay, so what I would be doing, so straight away, if there are any insufficiencies there, I will 100% be getting you, and not just taking a few, not just normalizing them temporarily, but actually making sure that you're consistently in that normal zone. But you're 100% right. It may not make a difference.
Do you know what I think it is? I think it's hormonal, because so this is really interesting and very personal, but what I was trying to explain to the hormone specialist was some days, and this might resonate with other people, some days I can get up and feel really good and just feel like, oh my God, I feel good. I actually don't feel like shit today, right? And then other days I can feel like I can't get out of bed like that, feel crap and feel really tired and have that brain fog, yeah. And I realised that if that might happen over the course of a 28-day cycle, and I haven't changed anything else, diet or anything else.
You track. You make a note of, if you're seeing that usually around day 14 I'm getting these strange symptoms, and then usually that 5 days before I'm getting my period, I'm getting these symptoms as well, then 100% there will be...
Yeah, but when you're in perimenopause and your period comes whenever you feel like it or whenever you don't feel like it, then it's very hard to track as well.
Yeah, but that's an even more important reason to track it, because... And if your cycle is shortening or lengthening by more than 7 days, then you are in late stage perimenopause, and there is no doubt that that your hormones, your estrogen particularly and progesterone, will not just be fluctuating your estrogen, but they will be declining as well.
And does that contribute to the fatigue?
100% contributes. So I would straight away be looking at potential menopausal hormone therapy, and so working very closely with a women's health.
And let me tell you what happened.
Yep.
I'll tell you what they did.
Yep.
They put me on the patch
Yep.
thing. Yeah, you know what happened? I went, however fatigued I was feeling, I went 1,000 times more fatigued.
And they put you on both micronized progesterone and estrogen?
They did.
They put you on both?
Yep.
Sometimes...
1 billion times worse. So
Okay.
how I was feeling for the fatigue,
Yep.
it made me feel 1 billion times worse than when on it. And everyone raves about it, but for me,
and look, and you are 100% right. Some people it doesn't agree with, but it can take about 3 to 6 months to get your levels right. So if your fatigue was hormone related, then supplementing and taking some hormones to rebalance will have helped your fatigue. But there's one other area that we haven't touched on, and that is your physiology. Now, you don't exercise?
No.
So we underestimate...
Well, hang on. I say that, but I just want to say, I said to my husband the other day, like, how many how many kilometres would a walk be for the people that do the Bondi to Bronte walk or whatever the kilometres? And he told me, and I said, you know what? I did twice as many of those steps
in the warehouse.
In my warehouse.
Yeah.
So and when I'm packing orders and I'm unpacking boxes and I'm running around the warehouse and I'm chasing the Australia Post guy down you forgot something, that's exercise. Surely that's exercise, right?
Yeah, and incidental.
And don't for a second discount, just because you're not hitting start on your Apple Watch and you're not doing a structured workout doesn't mean you're not exercising. But I will say that our VO2 max, which is your level of fitness, the maximal amount of oxygen that our blood can carry at any one time, which is directly correlated with our energy levels, our fitness, our VO2 max drops 10% per decade from about the age of 30 onwards. So like as you're getting into your 50s, you have dropped somewhere between 20 to 30% of that maximal oxygen uptake. That has a massive impact on your energy levels as well. And on the reverse side, if you increase your VO2 max, so if you increase your fitness level by doing some more vigorous activity, a small amount, within a month, you feel your energy levels increase because suddenly your body's ability to utilize oxygen improves that much that the walking around the warehouse, the going up and down the stairs, it becomes so much easier for your body.
But how do you do it when you're too tired to do it? So that how do you do that?
Well, the thing that I keep meaning to ask you as well is about your sleeping patterns. Are you a good sleeper?
I don't sleep at all, no.
Okay, so that's another massive and huge, massive
Actually, I will
piece.
say, when I do sleep, I do feel pretty good the next day.
Yeah.
I have personally noticed a correlation between, for example, if I go to bed if I go to sleep before midnight, for example, and then I sleep in till, 7:30 or whatever, I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
That's very rare, but mostly I only have a couple of hours sleep.
Okay, so that first bucket I was talking about, the physiology, so metabolic health, gut health, hormone health, inflammation. If you are chronically, even mildly, but chronically mildly sleep deprived, those 4 key levers, health pillars in that first bucket of biology are all going to be sub-performing. So if you were my client, my member, number 1, we would need to get to we need you sleeping. It ideally has a 7 in front of it. So sleeping for 7 hours. And that will make by far, and I'm an exercise scientist, but I'm going to say that if you had to pick the one thing to really nail after today's conversation, it is sleeping better. And there's this concept of can't sleep, won't sleep.
No, I don't want to sleep. I've got stuff to do.
Yeah.
And so because I'm 50, so this is where I'm at because I started a new business, right? I'm 50. I don't have I'm 50, like you said, right? I'm halfway there to the other end, right? I've got time to catch up. So I'm trying to make up those hours while everyone else
sleep
sleeps.
when I'm dead.
But that's exactly my attitude.
I'm going to say to you that is really, that approach and that attitude is negatively impacting your life.
I know it is because I say to myself before bed,
way.
if I could just go to sleep, I bet I could be more productive tomorrow, but I will try and...
So here's an interesting way of putting at it, okay? You're an athlete of life. Okay, you might not be Serena Williams on the tennis court, you might not be Usain Bolt, but you're a high achieving woman that has bought and sold multiple businesses, that has raised an amazing family, and that is a hustler that wants to get the most out of life. You, my friend, are an athlete.
I know,
And
I know.
And you need to treat your body like that. And do you know that the number one thing that athletes focus on is recovery? And I was like you 5 to 10 years ago. Sleep is overrated. I'll sleep when I'm dead. And I had an absolute complete table flip moment a few years ago where I discovered the importance of recovery. And it has revolutionized how I feel. And I see it in our members. And that is, my friend, when I look at everything we've spoken about today, that is where you need to start. But bringing in the exercise into it, exercise helps sleep so incredibly. And so a moment ago I said can't sleep, won't sleep. Because for some of our listeners here today, you're in the won't sleep category. In other words, the activities I'm doing I'm choosing not to sleep because I'm working, I'm scrolling, you know, I used to binge watch 3 shows in a row. That's the won't sleep. The can't sleep. And a lot of the listeners today will be in this bucket where I want to go to sleep and either I can't fall asleep or I get the 3 a.m. doomers and I can't get back to sleep. So exercise with the can't sleep group, exercise is a massive lever to help you sleep better.
I think those 3 a.m. dooners that you were talking about, some of that might be to do with the inflammatory response and also the liver being overworked. Have you noticed that with your clients?
Yeah, I definitely. So again, those 4, everything is so interlinked. And so those 4 health drivers, gut health being one of them, if you have some imbalances there, then you will absolutely be impacted by sleep. So absolutely with gut health as well.
Especially with mast cell activation, people with histamine issues, they wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and their body starts just churning and you can't get back to sleep. There's another thing I wanted to ask you about. We were talking about, negative things and derailing. A lot of my clients as well come to me and they are overeating at nighttime and sort of comfort eating.
Yes.
What would you say to them, Amelia?
Oh my gosh, that was me. I blame my mother because she's such a great dessert maker, but I had the worst sweet tooth. And up until a couple of years ago, I was having dessert 7 nights a week and they were just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I absolutely empathize. I feel like it's another confessional here. I absolutely empathize with that late night
Snacking.
Just snacking or just feeling like you want to nourish. So there's many different ways to tackle it. I'll tell you quickly how I tackled mine because it was insidious. Like I've been like that my whole life, but I've always had an excuse. I was a marathon runner. You can eat anything. Then I was in my baby making years. I kind of ran out of excuses basically. What I decided to do, for me, it was like chocolate, popcorn, ice cream. I mean, we're not talking about...
What's wrong with popcorn?
I love popcorn, but I was having, those bags of Cobb, Cobb's popcorn? I was having an entire Cobb's bag in one sitting. And then I'd get chocolate. I'd put it in the bottom of the bowl. I called it the bomb. So I'd finish as I'm getting to the bottom of my giant Cobb's. Sometimes it was the sweet and salty one, sometimes just the salty. As I'm getting sad because I'm almost at the end, the bomb appears and I've got all these chocolate-covered nuts that I would then dive into.
Do you find that when you have something sweet, then you feel like something salty as well?
Yes, 100%. So what I did, I knew I could not stop cold turkey and I tried the whole, I'll just eat an apple. And
one square of chocolate.
Yeah, or 1 square. Actually, I can do the 1 square of dark chocolate dipped in herbal tea. I'm okay if it's dark. I feel like you can't overeat. It's harder to overeat dark chocolate. But what I did was I gave myself 3 nights a week. I said Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you will not have dessert, but then Thursday to Sunday, go for it. I knew I could not just have the same routine. I had to change my environment. So what I did was on those Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights after putting the kids to bed, I could not go on the couch. I could not watch TV. So I shifted my routine. I went straight to my bedroom and I created this lovely nighttime ritual, bath, aromatherapy, book, bath salts, and I didn't even, and the kitchen was closed. So that's how I, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the first 2 weeks, missed the food a little bit, had a genuine, dopamine craving for it. Anyway, after about 3 weeks, I actually started to prefer that nighttime ritual. And before I knew it, it extended out to Thursday night. So my big takeaways here is just start small. So even if you go, all right, I'm just not going to, it could be alcohol, it could be after dinner snacking, and it could be the 3 p.m. slump, it could be the V drink. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm not going to do it. And then if I need to do it on the other days, and then you slowly build. So you're breaking that kind of physiological cycle, addiction, and then you're able to shift the habits on top of that. Another tip I have as well is healthy swaps, but also because a lot of us are trying to get a lot more protein into our diets, like having a small but protein-rich snack at night. And
That's what I do.
Okay, what do you?
I have a chia seed pot.
Yeah, perfect.
Or some cheese or something like that.
Perfect. Or and if that's even just a protein powder, even just a scoop of protein powder in some water, like that's going to be something. I love a collagen hot chocolate.
Yeah,
so
me too.
Yes, collagen hot chocolate with a splash of milk, and you sit on this hot drink for a long time, and it feels really satiating, really nourishing, and you're doing great things for your hair, skin, nails, joint, gut.
Yeah.
So collagen hot
we put
chocolate.
our silica powder in it too, don't we?
We do.
Yeah. So there's just a couple of tips for those nighttime.
No, that's awesome. So you
cravings.
co-founded the Michelle Bridges 12-week body transformation, which was honestly one of the biggest online health platforms in Australia. You were behind all of that. Did you get any takeaways from that about what actually works for women trying to lose weight versus what they think will work?
Look, I think the huge unlock, both for me and Michelle, was the power of a collective group doing a shared mission and the combination of exercise, nutrition, mindset, because that was our 3 pillars. And so I think, first of all, when we first started 12WBT, we were both, we came from a personal training background. We were like, is this really going to work on like a group level and, online? Don't you have to physically be with the person? So our first big unlock was, yes, absolutely, online and group-based can be super, super powerful. And then I think the second massive unlock was just that combination of those 3 factors together. So exercise, nutrition, mindset, and really how, they're greater than the sum of their parts, popping those all together. Another huge unlock I had is really how challenging weight management is for a lot of people. And those of us that are walking around that have never had to struggle with, a significant weight issue, we take it for granted and we don't realize how hard it is. And I think I've become a million times more empathetic as I've gotten older, especially, for people that have, really severe weight issues that, it's absolutely not their fault. It is their responsibility. But I feel like it's, we are a product of our environment, and we live in an obesogenic environment. It's a horrible word, but basically if you look around you, everything in our Western environment is designed to have us moving less, eating more, driving up, our food addiction patterns through ultra processed food.
Absolutely.
So if we weren't lucky enough to have parents that taught us healthy eating and moderation and how to cook for ourselves, and if we weren't those lucky people that grew up with healthy habits, then it's really, really, really hard. And that's why when I see Ozempic and I see, I see a lot of judgment around Ozempic, I think people need to understand that it is a lifesaver for many people.
It really is. And for my clients as well, I think in particular the GLP-1s, Mounjaro, Ozempic, have been life-altering in terms of their anti-inflammatory effects on the body. And they're using it in mast cell activation and a lot of inflammatory conditions. And the research is there now. It's coming now. And they're getting fantastic results. Yeah. And obviously for people that want to lose weight, it's a really good starting block, I think.
Yeah. It's certainly not something to take lightly. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to, jump on it and dip in and dip out. Like the research does show that once you've been on a GLP-1 and then you come off it, number one, chances are you will regain the weight. But number two, which I think a lot of people don't realize, is when you go back on it, its effects are often much, much smaller. So I would not start it lightly. I would work very closely with a doctor, either a weight management specialist or an endocrinologist, to find the right dose for you and to make sure that you are the right fit for it. But if you are, then amazing.
So I just wanted to ask, you've got your own podcast.
Yes, Healthy Her.
Healthy Her, and your listener are mums.
Yeah.
Are they sort of mums like me in their 50s going through all of those issues? That am I normal? Are they having those issues that I was sort of trying to articulate about perimenopause and brain fog and all those things? Or are they more sort of first-time mums, young mums, trying to get their baby weight off?
It's funny, my audience has really grown with me. So when I first started in 2019, I had 4 kids under 5. So it was very much that toddler, messy phase. And I think, my audience, as I've evolved and shifted into perimenopause, my topics have. So I feel like we're all definitely growing up together. So now my audience has more school-age kids, kind of 5 to 15. And we are all in the perimenopause storm season, as I like to call it. And the reason why I focus specifically on mums is because I do feel that when you've got kids, whether it's one or multiple, and you suddenly become not only the master of your own health, but you also become a little bit like the CEO of your whole family's health. And you are pulled in so many different directions, and you become this nurturer to someone else. It is a whole set of unique challenges that I wanted to be able to speak specifically to mums in that stage, and that's why I focused on mums, because it's hard.
No, that's good. I love that. I mean, if anyone needs the most amount of help, a helping hand, it's definitely us mums.
I also feel like it's a good bang for buck, because what happens is you clean up the mum's life, health, then she then, by virtue of that, there's this,
that's what exactly.
Bang
you
for
put the
buck.
oxygen, you give them, mum's got oxygen, everyone can breathe.
Partners eating well, kids are eating well. So I feel like if I sort mum out, I know there's going to be this amazing trickle down butterfly effect that it makes hopefully the whole family a bit healthier.
Yeah, I love that radio wave. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
For someone who's turning 60 next year, I want to talk about...
Who's turning 60?
Me.
You are not. You lie.
I want to talk about how we are being told to ditch the high intensity and go slow. I love going slow. I cannot do a HIIT workout or anything like that anymore. I'm more like walking and yoga. Where do you land on that debate?
I'm going to give you some bad news, Lee. I feel like I'm going to not be very popular with you two today. But from an all-cause mortality perspective, there's amazing research out there. I wish I could remember the name of the study, but they've done a huge study on vigorous exercise, which is basically zone 2 or higher, which is not as vigorous as it sounds. Zone 2 is where is either a slow jog or a power walk.
So is that like walking up the hill to Palm Beach? Because I do that every day.
It's
is
basically it's where your heart rate's between 60 to 70% of its max, and it's a really simple test, is the talk test. If you're able to talk like we are now, you're probably zone 1, which is easier. If you're like, okay, yeah, I'm great, thanks, how are you? And you can just kind of get a sentence or two out, that'll be zone 2. If you can't talk, you're zone 4 or 5. You're in that high intensity. So I'm not talking about, you don't even need to be in that super high zone 4 or 5. You might be in just that zone 2 that is classified as vigorous. And then moderate exercise is the zone 1, and then anything less than that is just kind of incidental exercise.
Yeah, that's me. I'm the incidental exerciser.
So I'm going to tell you girls that from a mortality perspective, every minute that you spend in that higher, zone 2 or higher, you would need to be spending 10 minutes in that low intensity zone to achieve the same mortality reduction. In other words, to have the same all cause, like big massive umbrella, cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, all the things that kill us, you would need to be doing 10 times as much of that lower intensity activity.
Well, I do a walk for an hour and a half. I love long walks. Is that good or not?
Absolutely. That is amazing. And I always say you do whatever you love first. I heard you say that, and what you'll do consistently. But what I will say to you, and I'm still falling off my chair that you're about to turn 60, so you're clearly doing something right. If I were you, I would do a little fast finish. So whether that's, or it could be midway through.
I have to walk up my 50 stairs.
That's what I was going to say, but I would do that 3 times.
Okay.
So at the end of the, I would do.
I'm at it. I'm out.
She's out.
I'm out.
So I'm going to also challenge you, Irene, because it's something called hormesis. Hormesis is healthy stress. I feel like so what happens, there's certain things in our life that are stresses that are actually really good for us. So for example, contrast therapy, so hot cold is a stress on the body, but it's a healthy stress. Your body has a positive outcome. Exercise is a healthy stress. Certain forms of fasting is hormetic, is a healthy stress. Even certain foods, so cruciferous vegetables contain sulforaphane, which is basically a small toxin for the body, but the body responds well. There is a positive outcome to that. So if you just do about 10% of your workout, so like 5 to 10 minutes max, where you're doing maybe 30 seconds of a little bit of a sprint or some stair climbs, the impact on your longevity, your health is exponential.
You're not going to tell me to do an ice bath, are you?
No, look, I think for women, hormones, I am going to tell you to sauna.
Yes.
And I don't mind something called like contrast therapy. So going from sauna to like a cold shower or even an ice bath, if you want to do the contrast therapy. If you don't have any chronic health conditions, that's hormetic. But ice baths alone for women,
Shocking for women.
not so healthy. Yeah, stick to the hormetic of the sauna.
So your philosophy puts love right alongside health and purpose, and including internal self-talk and connecting with your inner child, which we all talk about here and love. How do you bring that into clinical nutrition or exercise science conversation without people dismissing it as woo-woo?
It's it's so interesting because I've definitely become a lot more woo-woo.
Me too.
As I've gotten older.
Me too.
It's weird because I'm so evidence-based. I'm so like, show me the literature, show me the research. But I've just had enough things happen to members and to myself that has made me see that there is, some benefit and something else out there that we don't understand. I mean, I was recently at Billabong retreats and we were doing sound baths and meditation at night, and some of the sensations that I was getting, and they did this meditation with a sound bath unlocking different chakras, and my third eye, I had this almost hallucination and tears were streaming down my face and I don't know where they were coming from, and there was the most incredible energetic shift that I went home. My husband and I have just been in this kind of glowing state, almost like a honeymoon period.
Oh, that's lovely.
And he's like, and he said, and he's so not like he's, your rugger bugger, like kind of, typical macho man. He's like, you're different. And I'm like, I know. And like it unlocked this new connection in us. I can't find a research paper.
Yeah,
find me a research paper to quantify that.
I have to say, when I was recovering from long COVID, I was in a kind of a pretty dark place with long COVID.
Yeah.
It was really difficult. And, I did pacing, like you say, that's really important, getting a rest and resting and things like that. For me, the mental side and changing my neural pathways was a really big part of it. And I started a mantra, and I say it every day, and I still say it now 5 times a day. I'm healthy, wealthy, safe, and wise. Every day. I say it 5 times. And honestly, I've never felt better. Yeah. And I feel like that's got something to do with it too. The mindset.
100% is. And even with our members, like we might start in the very logic space. Like if I've got someone coming to me saying, I'm just this bundle of nerves and, and low mood, we have a questionnaire that it's a validated assessment that doctors use. And so my business partner, who's a functional medicine doctor. And so straight away it's called the DAS 21. And if anyone wants it, just message me and I can send you. It's a free. I've got a really good one that, actually shows you results and where they sit on the chart. Depression, anxiety, and stress score. So if we're starting up the logic end before we move woo-woo, what I love about the DAS is you will get a score for depression, you will get a score for anxiety and a score for stress. And what I found when I did it, my anxiety and stress scores were actually really low, but my depression score was a bit higher. So straight away for me, that was really interesting because I hadn't separated the 3. And then I went, well, why is that? Is there a loss of hope? Is there, and I started to really reflect on what was causing my low mood. Whereas for you, Irene, you might find that actually it's stress, or because you've just your cognitive load is maxed out. You've just got too much on because you're juggling all these plates. Or it might be anxiety, where actually you're worrying and ruminating over things that are not necessarily real concerns for you. So I like starting in a place of logic, but then I feel when you move into the techniques to improve that, that's where there's a beautiful plethora where mantras make a huge difference, where, forest bathing or, ocean bathing, where you find these different techniques, and some of them are really, really woo-woo. You go and see a kinesiologist that, makes your body contort in these strange ways, and they physically don't even touch you, but energetically then your body's moving. So I feel like there's many different ways, and it's a journey, and lots of your listeners are probably on that journey. And I'm always curious to know, have someone contact me and say, I saw this person, I did acupuncture, and then I felt this energetic shift. I'm like, go for it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of mind and placebo and all of those things, have you heard of, this is my favourite study, since we're going to talk science and not woohoo. There is a study, please don't ask me the name or to prove that there really is a study. There is a study that they had these men, half of the men were doing exercise and the other half of the men sat on a chair and just thought about exercise, and all of them lost the same amount of weight and grew the same amount of muscles. Just one group was just thinking about it, and it's a real science. Like, was a certain. We'll have to find it for the show notes. Have you heard of it?
We'll put it in the show notes.
I need to see that paper because I don't believe that. But what I will say, I know there is paper on visualization where athletes or active people. I know there's a really famous one on golfers where over a period of time, one day, one group, the golfers went out and practiced their swings, and the other group of golfers they weren't allowed to touch a golf club, but they sat there and visualized it. And the results at the
that
end
might
of
have been
study,
the one. I may have put my own spin on it.
Yeah, I think so. From technique and visualization, which I think is the point you're making, is so accurate. If you're visualizing, and you've got all these, there's lots of amazing authors and influencers out there that are all about manifesting. And look, I take it all with a grain of salt.
I 100% believe that money stress, financial stress, I know for me, would be a major cause.
I think it's the number one. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it was the number one stressor. It was either one or two.
So how do you feel like going to the gym and doing exercise when you can't pay your bills? Like, I understand how, the connection.
See, this is a really interesting point you make around healthy habits and intention. So for me, exercise is my rock and exercise is my stress reduction. But that's because if you think about in your daily activities, over half of what we do every single day is a habit, is habitual. Now for me, and that means it's easy. That means it doesn't take cognitive load because it's just, the path well trodden. So for me, exercise is habitual. It's easy, and the upside outweighs the downside. So,
and it can be free if you go walking.
Absolutely, yes. And you jump. If I'm feeling stressed, I go out and I go for a run and I jump in the ocean. But for someone else where that particular habit of exercise is not a habit yet, it's hard. And so you're in it, and this is why, your unique situation, I love that we unpacked all that earlier, is it's kind of like untangling a ball of string. Where do I start? Because I'm tired and I'm stressed. And so through those questions before, we kind of identified your lack of sleep and chronic sleep deprivation is where you need to start. But I would also be wanting to add a bit of exercise in there, but it doesn't have to be every day. I would be saying to you 2 days a week. And this is where it takes intention. If you're moving something from intention into habit, it takes a good, people say 2 weeks. I think it's way, way longer than that. But you might have to, on a Monday morning, write your intention on the Post-it note on the mirror. Tuesday and Thursday morning this week, I'm going to go and I'm going to walk around the block for 20 minutes. And maybe I'm going to finish with a little jog from the last 2 telegraph poles to the other.
I love that. I love that.
And
That's
that's really
starting. It's just about
easy.
starting. I'm going to do
just
that.
get your shoes on and get out the door.
I'm going to do the finish thing.
Fast finish.
Running up my stairs, the fast finish, I'm going to do it. So Amelia, looking into a crystal ball, what is popping in your future?
Oh, I love that. What's popping? Look, Dr. Yasmina Dedick-Hagen, who is my business partner, a functional medicine doctor, we're writing a book. So that's really exciting. So that's popping, and the manuscript's due very soon. All around menopause. Yeah. All around menopause, but kind of a bit of a contrarian take. Can't wait for that to come out. And then, so that's popping. And then just the work we do, my membership is growing really fast. And because we're combining functional testing and functional health, I just have so much hope and excitement for the future, because I've never seen such a big unlock in motivation, in behavior change, and most importantly in health outcomes.
I love that, because you're doing the benchmarking. I mean, that's so important.
And we're making it affordable, we're making it accessible. You don't have to pay $5,000 and, you know, go.
Yeah, because I've looked into so many and they're so expensive. What's your course? What's it called?
So our platform is called, or membership is called, Vitality 360. So that's our membership program that people can join. But then we have programs within that. So our flagship, the program that I just get anyone I ever love or, you know, care about, and our members that come on, we do Inner Vitality.
I'm going to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I need to do. I obviously need to do this.
It's an 8-week program that has a comprehensive blood biomarker test. So those measurements will.
I don't like needles though. Can we do it without getting a blood test?
Yeah. Yeah,
I've got some old ones. Can I give you those? I've had them before.
Yeah, yep, you can. I would love to see where you're at now, though, because
I always say that. Every doctor.
I know.
Oh, no, when's your last blood test? I got it something in 2020 during COVID, and they're like, no, we need something more recent.
I'm sorry. You've got to make your peace with the blood test. It hardly hurts. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I put those patches on, actually.
Yeah,
they numb it.
Yeah. What you learn and garner from it. Look, if you're sitting here and you're in rude health and you feel fantastic and, you know, you're pulling all those levers, then that's fine. I mean, some people are just super health curious. So I like to say, even if everything comes back looking amazing, you've got a good benchmark. And you might track once a year, or you might track even once every 2 years if everything was fantastic. But then if you see and because Dr. Yasmin is a functional medicine doctor, she looks at optimal ranges, not just those really broad reference ranges. Yeah. So for all of those 55 markers, you can say, I'm in the green, but I'm actually not optimal. And so then over 8 weeks, we have our 8-week program, which is group-based, a big hour-long workshop every week where we deep dive into a key system, and you've got your results handy, and so you just learn so much. So it's education you keep forever, and then nutrition plan, exercise plan, you know, all sorts of other.
And I really love that functional doctors look at optimum ranges, and they look at patterns in pathology, because I studied pathology when I did nutrition, as you would have as well.
You will nerd out majorly.
I nerded out a lot, but I find a lot of doctors don't look for patterns and don't look at the optimal ranges. So it's really hard to identify. If someone's borderline, they go, oh, you're fine. But actually you're chronically fatigued and your metabolism shot and you feel horrible.
Yeah, the medical system just is not designed to work that way. The medical system is amazing. We have the most incredible medical system in Australia that is really good at diagnosing disease. But unfortunately, you know, disease just doesn't happen overnight. It can take decades to build. And so if you just have a little bit more insight, even the most common markers that doctors measure, there's a lot you can learn from them. Like people, even protein intake. Like Yasmina taught me how to read these to see if a body is hungry for protein. And there's 4 different markers that if those markers come back, you know, low normal, then the body is hungry for protein. Like that's a really important marker, or a really important indication of what changes you can make. And that's just one small example.
Well, the program sounds amazing, and well done on everything that you're doing, and well done on the book. When is it out?
Don't know yet.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. We have absolutely loved having you on, haven't we, Irene?
It's been it's been really inspirational, and I'm so excited to do the program, and I'll report back afterwards as well. See if I start feeling a little bit more energetic.
We've got to get you sleeping better, my friend. I reckon if you focus on that for a month, you will come back and go, OMG, I'm a convert.
She'll be running up my stairs.
Recovery.
I do walk up your stairs. Maybe that's why I said I'm feeling better since doing this podcast. Maybe it's all those stairs I've got to walk up every week.
Into the secret cabin location.
Yes.
It's that time again, Irene, the time to teach, not preach, some womanly beauty and wellness wisdom to the men in our worlds.
It certainly is. And we have our male producer, Justin, who has many, many, many questions. What you got today for us, J-Man?
Hello, you two. Thanks for taking my questions. I'm fascinated and impressed by how women make and keep friendships. I think men, or at least this man, can learn a few things. Having said that, I've seen my male friends over the last decade or so. We have adopted what I consider female-inspired ways. Certainly no man or manosphere has taught us. Like, we hug, not shake. We tell each other we love each other. We sometimes share personal insights, even our mistakes, faults and problems, instead of, trying to impress or demonstrate some kind of, machismo. If more of my friends had hair, I reckon we'd be having braiding circles, which is what I imagine you women do. I could be wrong. What are some of the aspects and actions we can take to deepen our friendships?
Oh, Justin, I love that. I actually really love that for you. The hugging, the I love you, the vulnerability. It's just so feminine, but in such a good way as well. I think it's really important. I think that men have come so far now, and I just keep thinking about, again, my dad in the 80s and my uncle in the 80s and how men used to be, and it's just so wonderful now, and I think women can connect so much more to men. I've been connecting to you even more and more lately, actually.
Yeah.
And I've known you for a long time. I've known you for maybe 20 years, and I would say you've softened, and I love connecting with you more now than I have ever before.
Thanks for that. And I'm the same. And it's learnt for me. Whereas before, I think I was culturally denuded of some of the kind of deeper relationship things.
And you're a big man too. Like, you're tall. Like, you're a strapping silver fox.
Keep going. But one of the, and it's a little bit of a gripe, is that I think that we are doing that better. I have noticed it, but we have never acknowledged where it's a bit of cultural appropriation. It's almost gender appropriation. We've done it all. We've taken it up, got all the benefits of it, but haven't really said, that's actually female inspired. But anyway, that's the main thing is we're doing it. But I wouldn't mind having a bit of, shout out to the women folk.
Well, I think, the braiding circles are definitely real, and the spirit is correct. And I think here's one thing about women's friendships that I think a lot of men miss, and it's not about that one big moment. It's about all the thousands of tiny ones. It's, the voice note at 11 p.m. It's the screenshot of something stupid with zero context. It's remembering that your friend has had a hard work thing on a Tuesday and texting her on a Wednesday to say, how did that go,
That's exactly right. Women are archivists of each other's lives. I know what my best friend's mother's name is, what her childhood wound was, and exactly what kind of tired she means when she says, I'm tired. There's so many layers. Men tend to friendship in the more present tense. You hang out, it's great, you go home, the file closes.
Yeah, whereas we keep the file open always. The file is never closed. The file even have tabs.
Oh, I've got so many tabs. So, Justin, practical advice number 1, follow up. Any conversations where, you've shared something real or a friend shared something with you, not just weeks later, but, the next day, follow up, see how they're going, just even a text message.
Yeah, I agree. Number 2, and this is a big one, I think, stop waiting for a reason to reach out. Women will text a friend because we've heard a song or we've seen a dog that looked like them or literally nothing. I feel like you don't need a reason. The reaching out is the reason.
Yeah, men seem to need an event, like a match or a birthday bucks night, but friendship isn't about an event. It's about a practice. I know it's very unglamorous, repetitive, but such a beautiful practice.
Yeah, I love that. And okay, I've got another one too, which women learn really early on, and they celebrate each other publicly and specifically. Not just, oh, she's great. Tell your friend in front of other people exactly why they're great. This man right here talked me through something really hard last year. That kind of specific witnessed acknowledgement, I feel like it really bonds people.
You are so right. That is exactly what we do. You do that for me all the time. And actually, I do that to you as well. It's always like,
You sure do.
Lee, and then I like to talk about all your books and all of your achievements, and I'm just so proud of you. And you're right, men don't say, oh, this is Justin, he kicked 3 goals last time we played footy, or they don't do that, do they?
No, I don't feel like they do. What do you think, Justin?
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. I think the specificity of the compliment is everything. Not that I think you said why they're great, not that they're great.
Yeah, I think it's why.
Because it means that you've actually thought about it, and you can pinpoint what makes them great.
Absolutely. And have you thought about maybe organising something? We love organising events. I think when we had a little break in this podcast, I must have organised 3 events. And how many events did you organise?
12.
Right, we've got a disco. We're going to a disco. We're going for a morning walk. We're going for a drive down with the top down to the cafe. We've made all these plans. You know what? We might not even be able to do everything that we planned, but we make hundreds of plans, and we at least keep half of them. Surely we do.
Well, making plans is a great idea, actually, and just putting some stuff in a calendar invite. Oh, I should do that right now. Does anybody know how to do a calendar invite?
I don't actually know how to do that. I genuinely don't know. I've been so lucky for all these years in business. Everyone has always sent me an invite. I've never had to send one out.
I've literally been trying to do one for this podcast since before an episode was born. So, anyway, Lee, you can explain calendar invites to me, can't you?
We're done with the woman's planning for this bit. Don't push your luck.
And okay, well, and here's me just about to push my luck. May I be so bold as to mansplain something about women's relationships that I think you may not even realise you do.
Ooh, the honorary woman honorific can be easily rescinded. Tread carefully.
I will. I just enjoy how women greet each other. It's just usually a big smile, a huge throwing up of the arms, maybe a little dance and a race to embrace. And like guys barely look up.
Oh, absolutely. He's right. We do the arm thing. It's completely involuntary. I see my friend from across the car park and my arms just kind of just go up in the air. Like Kate Winslet on the Titanic bow or whatever the front of a ship is called. I don't know. What is that right? A bow?
I think it's the stern. Wouldn't the bow be at the end, at the bottom, back of the ship?
The stern, I think, is the
stern
back.
Sounds like the front and the bow sounds like the back.
Well, what's the angriest part of a boat? The stern, kind of. That wasn't meant to be a dad joke. Anyway, I'm moving on.
But yes, it's a full, when it comes to greeting our girlfriend, it is a full body yes. That moment that you see someone you love, your whole body just announces it. And you know what, Justin? I think that's actually the lesson right here. Women greet each other like the person is the best thing that ever happened to them all day, and actually is.
Yeah, even if you saw her last Tuesday, right? Make the arms go up, gentlemen, man to man, lead with the arms.
Oh, yeah, we're not there yet, ladies. We'll start with a pursed lip smile.
And a side grin.
And next up, Lee has a rant, or is it a rave today, Lee?
Oh, okay. I've got a rant today. And
Yay.
it's on green powders. They've positioned themselves as health's gold standard, but underneath, overpriced, underdosed, proprietary blends. Okay, so when it comes to proprietary blend, that pretty much is code for trust us. There's no transparency, just impressive sounding ingredients with zero clue if you're getting effective doses. You know, with these green powders, these tubs cost weekly grocery budget money for less nutrition than a decent salad. Premium prices for powdered convenience and marketing spin. The marketing, usually, straight up pyramid scheme vibes. That's what I'm getting. Influencers, referral codes, commissions everywhere. It looks more like a distribution hustle than health. And these green powders, I don't know if you've noticed, but they claim gut health support while packing in all of our favorite or least favorite emulsifiers, anti-caking agents that really do mess with your microbiome.
Don't let me get me started on the fake sugars in there as well.
Yeah, fake sugars, sucralose, all of those things. Like we talked about when we chatted about the chocolate episode and the UPFs. And the contradiction is ridiculous. Look, I want to be really frank. Powdered greens are not always real food. They've got little fiber structure, no complexity, no biological signals from whole plants, unless you're finding ones that are really verified and efficacious.
Now, Lee, I just have to say something though, and I understand what you're saying, and I agree with a lot of it, particularly so many green powders that I've seen in the supermarket, health food stores. But I sell green powders, and one of the green powders I sell is one of your green powders. Clearly, there is, knowing the purist that you are, and you wouldn't have had that rave if you didn't have an understanding on the topic.
Yeah.
So how do we know? How do we know the good green powders from the bad green powders?
I think one of the first places to look is the ingredient list. If it has 100 ingredients, you're not going to be getting enough benefit from each one of those ingredients. Sometimes it only takes a few simple ingredients to work together symbiotically to get really good results.
So what are we looking for then in a green powder? What ingredients do we need? It's like a spirul. Is it just a plain spirulina? Like, surely there's nothing wrong with a plain spirulina.
It is good. Spirulina. You want to get some kind of vegetable in there as well, some kind of algae in there too. If you're looking at gut and digestion, having a prebiotic component or digestive enzyme and fiber together will really support your motility. You want this to really work for you. You want it not just to be a whole load of green grasses. You also don't want to have stimulants in there or those artificial manufactured ingredients. So things like you say, like the spirulina, the chlorella, the wheatgrass support, they will really help the cellular energy production through your B vitamins, iron and magnesium. And you're not going to get that caffeine crash. Also, people with a heavy diet and, processed meats and coffees, it tends to be really acidic. So what greens do is they really help to bring your body back to a more balanced pH. But you have to get those ingredients working together, and they have to be formulated, I think, by a formulation expert.
So when you talk about this proprietary blend, are you mostly talking about all these private label ones?
Yeah, okay. A lot of those with artificial sweeteners, fillers. The labels are not transparent at all. They miss ingredients in them. They've got a lot of marketing claims on the front. They haven't gone through regulatory, and a lot of, as we always say, a lot of people just putting their names through a white labeled product that is actually not going to be that beneficial, and it's also super expensive.
Yeah, right. No, I agree with you. I still think, there's a place for green powders. We just have to make sure, again, like everything else, we've got to sort through I love how Mason...
The wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, I love how Mason called them the 2-minute noodle brands.
Yeah.
We got to sort through the 2-minute noodle brands to get the real deal.
The wheatgrass from the chaff.
I know you're the real deal, Lee.
Thank you.
Just buy your green powder. I actually just take yours now because I know you don't know what to take. I trust you.
One final thing I did want to say, and you did mention ours, the green powders. Ours is a green powder that combines alkalizing greens, medicinal mushrooms, protein, and adaptogens. So that is going to not only support your gut health, but immunity and sustain energy as well.
Oh, well, there you go. I knew I liked it for a reason.
And it tastes good too.
It does taste nice.
Irene. Oops, we did it again.
We did another week, another deep dive into the beautiful chaos of just being human.
And what a week to have Amelia with us. I mean, she just gets it, doesn't she? She does the work and we get the benefits. That's service for you.
I know, because she actually lives it. That's the thing about people we get on and bring into the cabin. They're not just performing wellness, they're actually doing it. Go find Amelia. She is definitely worth a follow. I was actually just following before you were talking. I thought I've got to quickly follow her because she's so inspiring. And we're inspiring too. Well, you're inspiring, Lee. Write to us and follow us. We read absolutely everything that you send us. So thank you.
And you're inspiring too. And even Justin, our honorary woman status, conditionally reinstated. For now.
Raise your arms, J-Man. Let the love in.
Now, If today left you feeling something, share it with someone who needs it. That's how good things spread. And while you're at it, hit subscribe so you'll never miss a week in the cabin.
And I didn't want to talk about the reviews, but the reviews have been really great. We'll have to start
Aw.
reading some out, won't we?
Yeah.
On air.
Oh, and my nutritionist nerd notes are waiting for you on the platform you're on right now. So please go and have a little read.
Same time next week, Lee.
Same time next week, and I can't wait.
Me either. Bye. Mwah.
Mwah.
Wellness Unfiltered is a production of Clean Nectarine Proprietary Limited and Supercharged Food Proprietary Limited. It is hosted by Lee Holmes and Irene Falcone, with editing and technical support by Justin Smidmore. You can listen to each episode on your favourite pod platform or on Substack at wellnessunfilteredpod.com. Wellness Unfiltered is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute medical, health, legal or financial advice. The views expressed are personal opinions of the hosts and guests and do not represent the views of Clean Nectarine or Supercharged Food. This podcast does not establish a doctor-patient or other professional relationship. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional before making any changes to your health or treatment.